Good afternoon, everybody. So glad to see each and every single one of you with us. Took the time to join us in such a special day for all of us. I want to start our June 12th meeting of the Santa Cruz County Board of Education with a roll call, please.
Trustee Acosta. Vice President Estrada.
Here.
Trustee Larson.
Here.
Trustee Roth. Trustee Van Allen.
Here.
Trustee Williams.
Here.
President Sanchez.
Here.
Student Trustee Hopkins.
Here.
Student Trustee Marcus.
Here.
Thank you. Did we receive any requests for remote attendance?
We've received no requests, President Sanchez.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, this is a little different than how we typically do business, but we have a closed session. There are some matters that aren't discussed publicly, and the discussion that we're going to have about litigation matters is one of them. So we, the board, the trustees, we will be leaving briefly, but we will come back to discuss, and then I will make a comment afterwards on our decision, if any, at that meeting. But first, I would like to allow for public comment on this specific item. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on the closed meeting item on the agenda? No? Okay. Then with that, I will recess into a closed session. Again, it'll be a couple of minutes and then we will make our way back. All right, welcome back. How are the cookies? Good, great. Thank you for your patience. I would like to reconvene our June 12th meeting and go back to an open session. I do want to inform the public that the board did hear a litigation matter, and on a vote of 5 approval, 0 denied, and 0 abstaining with 2 absent, we did approve of legal services agreements with France Law Group for the purpose of PowerSchool data breach litigation. With that, we're going to move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask those who can to please stand and join us as our superintendent leads us.
Ready? We have it. Yep, on the right side this time. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, item 7 now. I'm looking for an approval of the agenda.
So move.
The second.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Perfect.
Mr. President, one
Yes.
comment. Due to travel plans that were booked prior to our meeting change, I'll be needing to leave the meeting at 8:30 and I'll stay through the action till then.
Understood. Thank you. Moving along, now we have public comment. This is an opportunity for anybody in the public that would like to address the board on any matters that are not on the agenda. This is the opportunity. We ask that you please submit a card with your information and to limit your comment to 3 minutes. Is there anyone from the board, from the audience that would like to address the board? No? Anybody online?
Seeing none, President Sanchez.
Okay. Great. Moving along, we have the consent agenda. Questions or comments? Yes.
I'd like to move approval, and with great thanks for the generous contribution from our fellow board member, Alyssa Alto. Really appreciated.
Agreed. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Passes unanimously. All right, correspondence. Do we receive any correspondence?
The only correspondence received that was not included in the board packet is from Rachel Wells. She sent an email regarding the CSBA Region 14 update. She sent that today.
Perfect. And we all should have received that on our inbox. Great. Moving along, now we have the student trustee reports, and I am going to start with trustee Marcus.
So I don't have too much specifically to report on because it's the summer, so the school year ended. But there were graduations which were pretty big. I wasn't able to go to too many of them, but I went to SoCal's graduation and then also SoCal's multicultural graduation, which is a really cool event. And then I also went to the New Brighton Middle School graduation because my sister graduated. And then even though it's the summer, it's still sort of interesting to see how people keep up with academics during the summer. I know a lot of people take like community college classes. That's a really cool thing. I have some friends that are taking some. My brother's taking some. And then there's also sports, which are pretty active over the summer. So it's still cool to see how students are being involved with their community and with their academics over the summer when the school year's over. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Trustee Hopkins.
I also don't have much to report except for graduations. There was some really beautiful ceremonies. I think it made everybody feel very special, and all the speakers did an amazing job, and it was overall a really wonderful experience.
Thank you.
President Sanchez, if I may, before we move on, I believe
course.
our humble student trustees did not mention two particular graduations which they attended, which were their own. They both graduated from high school.
Congratulations. We're all very excited, proud of each and every single one of you. It's been, well, no, I'm not going to say because we still have next meeting. So I'll save those comments for then. Moving on, we have reports, discussion, and presentations. We're going to start with the Santa Cruz County Office of Education retirement recognitions with our own Dr. Sabah.
Good evening, members of the board and wonderful community. It is an honor to be here once again to celebrate some amazing folks who've been a part of the County Office of Education and really part of serving our amazing student community. Their time with us is coming to a close, and so we have an opportunity to be able to thank them, to celebrate them, and share a little bit about their impact that they've had on our students and our community. Now, it is not unusual for folks who are retiring not to come to this celebration at times. Some folks don't really feel comfortable in the spotlight, but we want to honor them whether they are able to make it or not. And as you can see, this celebration, as well as our Tier 2 administrative services folks who are here, this is part of that end of the year component that is something we look forward to and to be able to honor folks. So we have a few people that we're going to be speaking about, and so I'll be giving a brief introduction, and then I'll be asking folks who volunteer to speak about these retirees, and then we'll be presenting them with an award on behalf of the county board and the County Office of Education. So this list of retirees includes some folks who've been with us for many years, decades, and some folks who've only been with us for a short period of time. And either way, we recognize the fact that they have dedicated much of their lives to serving the community in a variety of different ways and different paths. And we're very excited for them as they look forward to a change and as they retire and move on to some new challenges and new opportunities. I'm going to start with somebody who is not here, but is somebody who is known to many of us here, Sean Patrick. Now, he began his journey at the age of 21, working in a furniture mill. His passion for craftsmanship led him to the building trades industry as a general contractor. And in the year 2000, he launched his own business dedicated the next decade to restoring and reproducing unique furniture and millwork for both historical societies and private clients. In 2010, Sean joined the Santa Cruz Regional Occupational Program at the County Office of Education. And over the years, he took on more classes and responsibilities, eventually becoming a lead teacher for our Alt-Ed and Cal-S programs. And today, he teaches a construction technology and building trades pre-apprenticeship program, which is a new project we started over the last couple of years. And he shares his extensive experience in the industry with students. And outside of the classroom, Sean enjoys fishing and boating pursuits that reflect his appreciation for hands-on work and the outdoors. And I'm asking our director of Cal-S, Sony Sanson, to join me to say a few more words about Sean Patrick.
Thank you, Ferris. I think Sean is fishing somewhere. As Ferris said, Sean was a CTE teacher, primarily in alternative education. So I know there's people here who were able to work with Sean for many years. He worked with students across the county, not just teaching the trades, but also he was their mentor. He really taught with his heart, and he was a trusted colleague who put students first. About 4 years ago, Sean and I, with our new department, worked on the project Ferris mentioned, our Building Trades Pre-Apprenticeship Program. This is a special program because it's registered with the Division of Apprenticeship Standards. And not only did we offer it here in the community, we also in our locked facilities at Roundtree Correctional Facility. That was a big endeavor. And with Sean's leadership, we were able to get that going. So on behalf of Cal-S and the County Office of Ed, I want to thank Sean for his dedication, passion, his steady leadership, and we wish him the best as he moves on to the next chapter, and his impact will be felt for many years. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So once Sean gets back from his fishing trip, we'll be sure to share the award with him. Next up, we'd like to celebrate Barbara Crosser, who is, she graduated right here from our Soquel High School. She went on to complete a degree in computer science and traveled extensively overseas with the military and returning to work with Hewlett-Packard in California. She eventually came back to work in Santa Cruz City Schools, Soquel Union, and finally right here in our North County SELPA. She has been kind of the right arm person for Jessica Little, our executive director of our SELPA, our special education local plan area. And so I'm going to ask Jessica Little to join me and say a little bit more about Barbara and the impact that she's had with us as part of the SELPA team.
So funny, I have my back to them, but okay. So I'm Jessica Little, and yep, Barbara is my right hand, sometimes my left. And so she has to juggle 1,000 things in our office. We're a department of 2. So she does this while answering phones, people stopping by, but a big part of her job is working with all the districts to make sure that they have accurate data. And so what happens is we get information from the state, and then she has to take that information and go out and train folks, make sure they're implementing properly, monitor, analyze, all the stuff. And when she started, about 1/3 of the districts either had vacancies or a lot of turnover, and we're still Zooming quite a bit. And so when she started, I said, what I really want is to create like a community of the data specialists, have them like their job, want to stay, stick together, know that we're here to support them in any which way that they need it, and create some sustainable systems. And so she's done that like 300 times over. And so what I'm going to do is read some snippets from the districts. So Barbara has always been so supportive and has answered all my many questions thoroughly and cheerfully. Barbara has made an outstanding contribution to support Santa Cruz County students with special needs and their families with her work. Barbara has ensured that all districts receive the most up-to-date information. She responds in a timely manner to all questions. She's efficient and professional with all communication. Barbara always offers support and training assistance when needed. Her unwavering dedication to her work has made a positive impact, as well as making a difference in the education of children. Barbara is efficient, succinct, and an awesome team player who keeps us all on our toes. Barbara has endless patience and is always quick to respond to questions and bids for help. She's an excellent teacher, moving slowly, guiding, checking for understanding. She's a warm, safe, kind, responsive leader, and we're so grateful for her. While Barbara does not work directly with students, she plays a pivotal role in supporting the data analysts who work closely with providers delivering services to special education students. Through her expertise in data analysis, Barbara ensures the data used by providers and the state is accurate, organized, and effectively interpreted. Barbara has an extensive knowledge and extremely analytical mind regarding special ed data and works tirelessly to make our jobs in the district level easier by creating searches and tools that simplifies otherwise complex tasks. She's only a phone call away when you need help, and the time she devotes to providing training for people new to the position is exemplary. Barbara responds quickly, refers us elsewhere if she's not sure, and never wastes our time. And so what I want to say is she has done like an immense job bringing everybody together, and the work is sustainable and will continue on. But besides that, she's also an amazing human being. And so thanks, Barbara, and congratulations.
Let's give a round of applause to Barbara Crosser and ask her to join me. So on behalf of the County Board of Education and the County Office of Education, we'd like to present this award in gratitude for your dedicated service to the COE. Congratulations, Barbara.
Wasn't expecting that. Well, thank you for letting me come here and participate and to help. That's it. That's it. Thank you.
Come on over here.
Oh, great. No problem.
Next, we'd like to celebrate Rudy Lopez. Rudy Lopez has served as Watsonville's fire department chief for he's been in the department for 29 years. And starting as a reserve firefighter in 1990 to his current role as fire chief. In addition to his leadership in the department, he taught the Fire Science Technology program for the County Office of Education since 2009, mentoring students pursuing careers in public safety. He is truly a community-focused leader, and Rudy shares his life story to inspire local youth. He and his wife have lived in Watsonville for decades, raising 3 children, including a son who serves as a police officer in the city. I'm going to ask for Sony Sanson to join me again to share a little bit more about Rudy.
Thank you, Ferris. Rudy had planned to be here this evening and was unable to at the last minute. It's my honor to speak briefly about Rudy Lopez. Rudy has influenced so many lives throughout his career, both as a firefighter and fire chief, as well as a teacher, mentor, and role model. Rudy has taught hundreds of students on Thursday nights at the Airport Boulevard Fire Station, teaching them about public service, as well as providing exposure, what it might be like to work as a firefighter, but also teaching them things like honor, integrity, responsibility, and hard work. Rudy's legacy is not only found in the careers launched or the skills learned, but in the countless lives that he's touched through his leadership, generosity of time, and his unwavering commitment to young people and to the community. And if you ever get a chance to hear Rudy speak at a graduation or an event, it's a real privilege to hear him share his story. And on behalf of CalS and the county office, many thanks to Rudy. Thank you.
And now it's my honor to thank and congratulate Kimber Collins, who began her journey with us in January 2007 as a substitute and quickly became a valued part of our team, joining officially as an instructional aide just a month later. Her dedication and heart were evident from the start. Over the years, Kimber continued to grow and serve our students with unwavering care. She was promoted to senior aide in 2016 and then to guidance counselor Tech 2 in 2018. In every role, Kimber has brought warmth, consistency, and an unshakable commitment to student success. Her legacy is one of kindness, integrity, and putting students first, always. We're so grateful for her 18 years of service. I'd like to welcome Dr. Jen Izant to join me and from our alternative education program to tell us a little bit more about Kimber.
Kimber, I'd be honored if you come and stood next to me, please. It is my true pleasure to recognize and celebrate someone who's been so dedicated and such a compassionate part of alternative education, Kimber Collins. As Ferris mentioned, Kimber started as a substitute like many of us, and we found right away that she was a valued part of our team, and we were so lucky that you decided to join us as an instructional aide. As a guidance counselor, throughout her years, Kimber worked at numerous sites, including DeWitt, our school in Watsonville, for girls, and most recently, our Santa Cruz Community and Seabright schools. At every site, Kimber has been more than just a colleague. She has been a trusted advocate for our students and a calming, steady presence for our young people we serve. Her ability to lead with her heart, patience, and quiet strength has had a lasting impact on so many. Kimber, your commitment to always putting students first, your tireless support, and your steady belief in our mission have meant more than words can express. You will be deeply missed, but as you know, we are so excited about your next chapter and can't wait to hear about it. Thank you.
So Kimber, on behalf of the County Board of Education and the County Office of Education, we'd like to present this award for your 18 years of dedicated service. Thank you for all you've done and the lives you've touched.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I've successfully avoided speaking for the last 18 years, and I figured it's time I should say something here. I would like to congratulate my fellow retirees. You have earned this honor. I would like to thank you to our admin, Ferris, Johnny, Jen, Sony, Michael. Your strong commitment of support to our staff and students has been invaluable. To my colleagues, Christian, Monica, Olivia, Renee, Lauren, Becca, and many others, your depth of camaraderie has been a joy, and your dedication to our students a gift. To the board, your contributions and support for our programs enables the youth of our community the ability to experience a fulfilling life. To my dear little mom, you have a tower of strength. You are a tower of strength throughout my life, and I love you. And I love you too, Kenz. To my family, thank you for your love and patience. To my students, you have given me hope for the future. Your willingness and unwillingness has confirmed in me the value of challenge and the fortitude it takes to travel this winding road of life. Just this week, I've had the lovely experience of running into 3 of my students from the past 18 years. Their maturity, confidence, and expressions of gratitude and love has filled my heart. Thank you to you all, for I feel blessed.
And now it is my honor to introduce somebody who's been a part of the County Office of Education for 25 years. a lifelong Watsonville resident who is deeply committed to uplifting young children, families, educators, and our broader community with compassion and respect. She serves on the First Five County Commission with me and the YWCA of Watsonville Board. She is a champion for quality and accessible early learning and after-school care programs. She is actively involved in education of the community on how essential childcare is to both family well-being and our local economy. She truly is a champion for our families. Above all, Diane values the lasting partnerships and friendships she's built with stakeholders, educators, government leaders, and community members who share her dedication to children's success. I'm going to ask Marcia Russell, our Associate Superintendent, to join me to speak a little bit more about Diane's impact and contribution.
Thank you very much. It's my honor to be able to share with everyone here, as well as the board and everyone else, just the amazing attributes of Diane. Dedication, humility, care, advocacy, compassion, professionalism, calm, always, collaboration, responsibility, and tenacity. These are just a few of the talents and attributes that Diane brings to her work as a community organizer, most importantly, to serve. And she has done that tremendously over the course of her 25+ year career here, as well as elsewhere. And she has set an incredibly high bar for every single one of us. She really has sought to create more equitable outcomes for everyone in this community. She's been recognized more than once, at least 3, if not more, specifically by the state for the tremendous efforts that she's been able to do, for her ability to organize in the community and to include all community partners in the critical work of advocacy and support for early child care, education, and support in our community. I know that we all wish Diane very, very well. She's going to be enjoying the opportunity to do some well-deserved travel around the world. And I know that she will still be able to serve our community. She plans to continue, as many of us do in our repurposement, not retirement, to serve as both an advocate and someone who will continue to be an advisor for the community. So with that, Diane, congratulations.
Thank you.
I have to say that one of the things that Diana was able to do with bringing our childcare community together was these 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Childcare calls with hundreds of folks from all over the county who to help them through the pandemic, and this has continued. And she has really created this amazing network with our CDRC team to be able to continue to provide that support. So we are really going to miss her. And I'm here to present this award on behalf of the County Board of Education and the County Office of Education for your 25 years of loyal and dedicated service to the families of our community. Congratulations.
Thank you all so much. There was a wise woman one of my mentors, Linda Brault, who said, it's all about relationships and it's about belonging. And so using that as my particular vision and mission is to, ensure that wherever I'm at, whichever table I'm sitting at, that we have, that we are all respectful and that we all include everyone's thoughts in order to provide greater understanding and partnerships within our county. And I cannot say that, here at COE, there's no better place to feel like you belong. And also the relationships that I've developed over the 25 years have been, long lasting. There isn't one thing that we all do here in COE without touching somebody else. It certainly is a large team. And I just want to say thank you. I'm honored and, so privileged to have been a part of the COE for the last 25 years. Thank you so much.
The numbers keep getting bigger. And it is my honor to congratulate Bonnie Schindliver, who began her career at the County Office of Education as a substitute aide, later becoming a full instructional aide. For over 3 decades, she has supported students of all ages and abilities and is now a senior instructional aide at the Cabrillo Post-Senior Program. She is beloved by students and colleagues alike. Bonnie is known for her kindness, her patience, and dedication. If you don't know Bonnie, she just brings this contagious sunshine. She just lights up the room with her compassion and positivity. She meets students where they are, encourages their growth, and supports them in the classroom and on job sites and in the community. Now, Becca York was meant to be here, but unfortunately, she wasn't able to be here to share her words and appreciation for Bonnie. And we are just so grateful for these over 34 years of service with the County Office of Education. Please give a round of applause to Bonnie. Oops. So Bonnie, on behalf of the County Board of Education and the County Office of Education, we give you this award in recognition of your 34 years of dedicated service. Thank you for all the lives that you've touched.
Thank you. I'm very touched by this. I really appreciate it. Those who know me know that I am very uncomfortable being the center of attention, and partly because in the classroom setting, it's not about one person. It's about the teacher. It's about the aides, the itinerant staff, the parents, the administration, all working together to support our students. And I've been just so blessed to learn so much from these amazing educators over the years, so many wonderful staff people, and it's all for that one goal, to support our students and help them to enjoy a successful life, and they've inspired me to no end. And again, I thank you.
And it's my honor to congratulate and thank, really with deep appreciation, Veronica Ramirez. As a young adult, Veronica was driven by 2 passions: supporting at-promise youth and those impacted by the juvenile justice system. It's no surprise that she found her calling at the County Office of Education. Veronica began her journey with the COE in 1982 as an instructional aide in alternative education. She transitioned to special education in 96 and was promoted to senior instructional aide in 1999. In 2010, she returned to alternative education, where she continues to serve with dedication under 5 different superintendents Colleagues describe Veronica as conscientious, deeply committed to student success, warm and engaging, and someone who values accountability and strong staff relationships. Her passion and heart have left a lasting impact on the alternative education community. She has the most contagious smile you've ever seen. I'm going to ask Dr. Jennifer Izant to join me to share a little bit more about Veronica Ramirez.
Thank you, Ferris. Thank you. Well, I am incredibly humbled to be able to speak about Veronica. Ferris said so many wonderful words, but I want to say a fun fact too. Veronica was hired almost the exact day I was born. The same month, the same year, you walked into Alt Ed. And I wasn't going to say, I thought you were going to say 40 something years so we could leave something to the imagination, but you walked into Alt Ed when I came into this world. And I cannot tell you how many people I come across in this community who know of Alt Ed and say, oh, I remember Alt Ed. I was there, or my mom was there. Do you know Veronica Ramirez? Did you ever work with her? And I'd love to tell them I still work with her. And their eyes would just open up. No way, no way. Because Veronica's commitment to our students and her passion to our community is something that I know is really hard for you to let go. Yes. And it's really hard for us to see you go, but we are so, so happy for your next phase. I want to say just a couple more things. As Ferris mentioned, our colleagues described Veronica as conscientious, invested in student success, warm and engaging, yet always holding high expectations. And I'm just going to say that in simple terms. Veronica would take no nonsense from anyone, and her expectations were that students and staff could do better. And we appreciated that about you so much.
Thank you.
I really, really, really appreciated that about you. So your commitment to our programs for the past 42 years will live in our hearts and our minds for the rest of our time. Thank you so much, Veronica. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So Veronica, on behalf of the County Board of Education and the County Office of Education, I'd like to present this award to you for 42 years of dedicated service to our community and our students. You've been amazing, and we are so grateful for everything you've done for us.
Thank you so much. I just would like to say thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's been an honor, a complete honor to work with the County Office of Education and all my prior, students that I run into, on a daily basis. I run into kids all the time. I want to send a shout out to my grandchildren, to Azaria, who's forever 23, to Melina, who's 22, to Isaiah, who's 17, and to Abigail, who's 9 years old. I love you. Thank you.
Can we get our Alt Ed team up here?
I'm wondering if our board members would like to share any few words with our retirees.
Anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. This is such a wonderful sight to see so many people show up and celebrate the many years of dedicated service of these individuals. And though I know not one of you, it is very apparent how much you love and care about the students that you were serving. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for serving our students and our community with such love and passion. And I wish you all the best in your next ventures.
Larson?
I'm a new board member and I've just gone through so many COE graduations that were so inspiring. And this is yet another graduation of a different sort that is equally inspiring. So just want to thank you for your years of service. And as a retiree myself, just welcome you to the fold of giving back to the community in new ways, just as you've given so much before. Thank you.
Estrada?
I wanted to also thank you all for your years of service. Many of you serving longer than I've also been alive. So, thank you so much. I know you are absolutely passionate about this work, to have done it for decades, serving our students, and I think that the work, this is the exact work that I wanted to help contribute to by being on the board for the past couple years. And it's great to see you all and all of your years of service. Thank you.
Student trustees? I just want to say that I might be a little biased, but I think that the COE, Santa Cruz County specifically, is one of the best places to work. And I think, and I know a big part of that is just the culture. And the culture is the people, is the employees. So thank each and every single one of you for contributing to that culture, for giving back to our community and investing in our future, right? In our students. Congratulations. And we look forward. We look forward to the new things that will happen, because I know this isn't the end. I know you guys will all continue to contribute and make a difference in our community. So again, thank you and congratulations. All right. So we are going to move on to 12.2, but before that, those who wish may clear the room. You're welcome to stay, of course. We'd love to have you here. And while that is happening, I do want to acknowledge that Sue is with us via Zoom, correct? Are you still there, Trustee Roth?
Trustee Roth is an attendee right now.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So we'll just make sure to ask if there's any comments, and then she can make comments as public, right?
President Sanchez, I believe you must, the board has to vote whether to approve her remote attendance per AB 2449.
Okay.
And she is requesting just cause due to childcare.
Okay. Perfect.
Do we need a motion? I would move that we accept Trustee Roth as a remote attendee.
Okay.
I'll
Under
second.
the appropriate law.
Okay. So we got a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passed unanimously. Welcome, Sue. All right. 12.2, now we're moving on to the certificates of completion for administrative credential training.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm going to introduce our part of the role that we play at the County Office of Education is really to help prepare young people for participating in democracy and in pursuing their dreams. And also an important role as we play is in helping to prepare the next generation of educational leaders. And our administrative credentialing program, our Tier 2 program, is really part of the culture that you mentioned, President Sanchez, when it comes to helping to create a culture of belonging for students and also advocacy for equity and excellence in our schools. And so I'm going to ask our Associate Superintendent, Marcia Russell, and our Director of District Support and Leadership, Brooke Hopkins, to lead us with a ceremony to celebrate the graduates from our Tier 2 program. This again, and I won't say the next generation of leaders because they are the leaders of today. They are already doing amazing things on behalf of our students and are continuing to champion our students in wonderful ways. And so it's really an honor to present this graduating class to you.
Before I turn it over to Brooke, I just want to share that when I first started at the County Office of Education 2 years ago, this cohort was also starting their administrative induction credential program. And it's been an absolute joy to see all of you, work with all of you, get to know every one of you, as well as our mentors and our lead instructor. So I just want to say congratulations to you all. Brooke Hopkins is going to share a little bit about the program, and then we will begin the presentation of the certificates.
Thank you and good evening, board. So I just wanted to share, I'm sorry, I don't know how to work this. Let's see. Oh, a few times. There we go. Oops, I'm going. There we go. There we go. Okay. Ta-da. So I just wanted to share a little bit about the program so you have context for what a significant accomplishment this is. These are 22 current working administrators who are in a 2-year program. And so they are working, this is a job embedded program, and they are doing this work concurrently. So this is a little visual that we put together kind of describing how the program is constructed. And it's really centered around what's called the capsules. So the capsules are the California Professional Standards for Educational Leaders. And they have kind of some areas of focus there. So there's elements that the candidates have to kind of set goals around. The first element is assessment, and the candidates go through a self-assessment quite a few times during the program. They set goals under those elements and also an equity statement. They provide evidence in a quite comprehensive portfolio, which they're finishing right now, and we're reading them and reviewing them. They participate in professional learning 8 times the first year, which will be 6 this coming year. But they did 8 professional learning sessions and then 4 professional learning sessions. The second year kind of centered on those capsules and also content related to their job, kind of job-like groups. We invite former and current administrators to come and just be guest speakers and share their learning journey. And then they're also assigned a coach at the beginning of the 2-year process that works with them one-to-one, 40 hours a year at a minimum. And this coach is really just like a sounding board, a thought partner. They work through challenges together. And so you can imagine that they form a very strong bond. Many of them are here this evening. And so it's a really special program, very comprehensive. And we want to start just by acknowledging our amazing coaches. These are folks that are retired administrators. They've been directors, principals, superintendents. And so if you're a coach here in our program, would you please stand up so that we can acknowledge you? And they are working tirelessly with their candidates, often rescheduling their appointments, but being flexible with their time as well. But they're wonderful, and they've been a huge support to our candidates and to our program. And then Marianne is here, correct? Marianne, can you come on up? So Marianne, we just cannot thank you enough. This is our lead instructor here at the county office in our Tier 2 program. You can see by her resume that she has been in the educational community for 34 years as an administrator, just as an administrator, here as well at our very own COE for 4 years as associate superintendent. Marianne leads with her heart. She's a beloved educator. She's a beloved leader. And I can speak for everyone to say that we don't know what we would have done without her because she is leading us through and often supporting the candidates, the coaches, and myself as well, being new in this role. So thank you.
Well, actually, first of all, good evening. It's a joy to be back here and to see many of you. I'm rather sad that our newly retirees just left because you have a huge group of testimonial people who said retirement is not for us, giving back is for us. And our mentors are wonderful examples of that. I retired 7 years from the county office, and it's very easy for me to say that you never actually leave the county office. And my heart is here, and you just keep coming back. I love the repurpose part. That was wonderful. I'll be repurposed. So what I can tell you after that experience is this is cohort 6, which means 2 years per program. We've had 12 years of training and working alongside our amazing new administrators. That's about 150 new administrators. And what I can tell you about this group in particular is that they are completely dedicated to social emotional learning and literacy of their students and their administrators and their adults. They understand that unless you're grounded in feeling belonging, you can't learn. And they believe that of the adults that they work with, and they believe that for the students that they work with as well. They're also considerably focused on getting into classrooms. They know that we talked a lot about the importance of the work of education happens in those rooms, and their job is to be there and to be alongside and to be lead learners along with their teachers. They're extraordinarily committed to equity and inclusion for all their students. Every one of their portfolios is grounded in all students. They built their goals related to who are those students that need them the most. And that's how they do their work. The last thing I wanted to say is that I've nagged them a very long time about self-care. And it's nice to see them towards the end of the school year because I know that they're going to work really hard. I do want to take a minute and just acknowledge my co-instructor, Melissa Roberts, who was an extraordinary leader. She continues to inspire us, and I know many of them had the opportunity through their district work to work alongside her. So just an incredible gift that she brings to each of us, and I thank them. I also want to thank our mentors. You're amazing. I know you had many, many other things you could be doing, and you stuck in with these extraordinary candidates, and we have to stop calling them candidates. I think you're done, right? I think we have to come up with a different word, but they're extraordinary candidates, 150 of them, and now we're going to give them their certificates. Okay. Here we go.
And I didn't mention that Marianne is retiring again, but she will be with us. She will be with us as a mentor. So she's not going to be our lead instructor anymore, but she's going to be a mentor. Thank goodness.
Do you want to read names? How do you want to do this, Ferris?
You can read them, have them come up,
Yeah,
stand
come
and
and
get a photo of the
Okay.
group at the end.
Yeah, okay.
All right, why don't you read?
I'll read them. The lead instructor. It's just the instructor. And I'm really happy to see many of you with your families. Thank you for bringing them.
Speak into the microphone, because
Shall I say that again? Thank you for bringing your families. This is a family affair. There's no way you can be an administrator without the support of the people around you. So I'll start with Carlo Albano. If you'll come up, Carlos. Congratulations. If you just stand on the front. Joe Allen. Brittany Burchell. Dustin Carr. No, he's not here. Christy Danner. They're all been involved in graduations. They're used to handing certificates. Roisin Faje Vivo? No. Esmeralda Flores. Megan Hill. Rachel Hoffman. Barbara Hubner. Rachel Jones. Scott Keller. Patrick Lynch. Heather Marin. Ashley Moose. Haley Newman. Congratulations. Elizabeth Ortiz. Kim Ponza. Marissa Samuel. Nicole Salas Cuna. Elizabeth Tashikian. And last but not least, Shana Urbanczyk. Oh, they're so extraordinary. That's so wonderful.
Are we ready for a picture?
I think so.
Let's all take a little bit of a half step in.
And I'm gonna ask the mentors to come stand with them.
President Sanchez, if you join us on this side, and Mary Ann and Marcia, maybe we could split you off.
You want me-
Mary
okay.
Ann on this side. I think we can do- it should be perfect. I'll just step back a little bit. All right, everybody's in frame. Look right here. 1, 2, 3.
You stay and then come on. Come on, mentors. Come on, get in a picture. Get in a picture.
Everybody for this. Together and some public coffee in the back. You'll get everybody in. All right, right here.
So we have a little cake and refreshment in the tech room, tech center right across the way. So if you and families want to come just have a little piece of cake and have a celebration, come on over. Thank you so much.
May I just add that we have a couple former Tier 2 candidates in here, Michael and Sony.
Before you leave, if you could allow the board just to say a few words, please.
Comments from the board. Van Allen?
Well, I just want to say how much I know the rest of the board appreciates those of you that want to make a career in education and want to advance in administrative roles as well as the other roles available. This is a great place to work if you care about education, and we all should. And you are part of building this and continuing this culture and this excellent commitment that our county has. You're the ones that actually carry it out, that this community wants for the students of our community. So thank you again, and congratulations on completing the 2-year course.
Student trustees? I just want to say I look forward to celebrating your retirement in 40 years. 40 years, no less than that. Super excited again that you guys are committing and taking that step to be more involved in our schools. Again, I think we're very fortunate in the schools that we have and the administrators that we have. So thank you for taking the time and for making this your career. Look forward to hearing all the good things that will come from it. Congratulations again. So there's cake. Is that what I heard? Save me a piece.
The private school principal getting the credential.
First presenting used to be part of the regular. My first time before.
When I looked at the contributions, I didn't even listen on that as a form of board member.
Alyssa,
Yeah, I just realized. And then I went back to look and it didn't say former board member. Yeah.
Okay, now we will be moving to the public hearing and we will start with item 13.1. I hereby declare open the public hearing regarding the 2025-2026 Local Control Accountability Plan, also known as LCAP, of the Santa Cruz County Office of Education. The board is here to listen at this time and will not be taking action until the June 26th County Board meeting. Staff will make their opening presentation to the board. Then the public will comment and provide input. It will be received from individuals wishing to speak. And we will ask the individuals to please keep it to 3 minutes. The board will have an opportunity to ask the presenters clarifying questions. Then the public hearing will be closed. We will start with Dr. Jennifer Eisent Gonzalez, our Senior Director of Alternative Education. You may now make your presentation to the board regarding the 2025-2026 LCAP of the Santa Cruz County Office of Education.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, trustees. I think I forgot to say that earlier as I was so excited, Green Arrow, thank you, to talk about our retirees. And also the annual joke I make when it's like, this is how you clear a room. And then there were two. And yes, I did want the cake, Ferris, but no. Well, welcome. Thank you. I will keep this as concise as possible. I know it was a very long meeting and I will take the slides. There we go. Well, welcome. I'm very excited to speak about our 2025 Santa Cruz County Office of Education LCAP. We know what alternative education is all about. And so tonight I'd like to do something a little bit different. And I'd like to hear from a former student of ours, a graduate, to tell us about her experience with alternative education, Natalie Hopkins.
Hi, everyone. It's weird seeing you from up here, but okay. My time with alternative education, especially at Oasis, has played a huge role in shaping me as into a more confident person. One of the biggest things it has taught me is how to be more independent. Learning how to manage my own schedule and stay motivated on my own really pushed me to take responsibility for my education. Oasis also helped me to develop better time management skills, which I know is going to be essential beyond high school. And having one main teacher instead of 7 or 6 make a big difference. It created a space where students and teachers could build stronger, more meaningful connections, which made me feel more supported and understood. That kind of environment helped me grow not just as a student, but as a person as well.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your time, Natalie. And again, congratulations on graduating high school. So as everyone here knows, the LCAP, I'll do a brief overview. It's a document that shows how we meet the 10 state priorities. It focuses on students with high needs. Students who are identified with high needs are foster youth, multilingual students, and socioeconomically disadvantaged students. The approval process starts here this evening with this public hearing and the following board meeting, and then the LCAP is brought to the CDE to be reviewed by both the fiscal team at the CDE and the program side. Here we are with the LCAP cycle. It seems like it never ends because it doesn't. So right now we are in the summer plan adoption phase. One new part with the LCAP is that you get to hear about it in February. So just in past February, we did the mid-year update. And we had a lot of the metrics at that time, which has made this meeting actually a lot more streamlined because we visited this whole report back in February and updated the board on how we were doing. And so right now we're in the summer. And as I discussed, there are 10 state priorities that are required to be addressed through the LCAP. There are 8 state priorities that are addressed for school districts, 10 for county offices. This slide here, I have highlighted the local indicators that will be discussed at the next meeting. So at the next meeting, it's required to bring the local indicators for presentation. I happen to not be here for the next meeting, but my colleague Johnny Rice will be presenting them. But I thought it would be nice to show how they all fit in together. And the state made this wonderful graphic, which you'll see again in 2 weeks. But all 10 state priorities are addressed and verified in the LCAP, and then the ones highlighted that will go into the dashboard will be discussed and presented at the next meeting. Our community feedback, I'm not going to read the slide, but essentially what our community says is that we have safe, supportive environments with staff who care about students. I saw everybody, so many people in this room at our graduations, and I believe having those right before this meeting is extremely valuable because our ceremonies, you can truly tell how well the staff, our team, know our students. And even with my journey with Natalie, getting to know Natalie and seeing her growth in our programs has been remarkable. It's a wonderful joy to be part of a program where you know the faces of your students, and our families and our community recognize that. Briefly, I'll review our 5 goals. Last year, the board approved the new 3-year cycle LCAP. So these 5 goals are the same that were approved last year. We have just finished year 1 of this 3-year cycle. As Natalie discussed, in our programs, becoming more curious, confident, and conscientious, those 3 school-wide goals are woven into each of them. Our first goal is our academic goal, running school programs that are helping cultivate curiosity and lifelong learning in students. Goal 2, that's our social, emotional, and well-being goal, helping our students grow into more conscientious individuals. And goal 3 really works on the confidence of our learners through collaborative partnerships in our community. Goal 4 weaves in 2 required goals for COEs, which is supporting foster youth throughout Santa Cruz County and their education, and also supporting education for expelled youth in the county. Goal 5 was, as mentioned last year too, a new required goal for any LEA receiving equity multiplier funds. And we receive a small amount of equity multiplier funds for our small court program. And we utilize those funds to help increase college and career supports for our students in our court school. Now, the next slides, I'm going to go in goal by goal to discuss our progress and any changes and where we're going. So goal 1, analysis. For goal 1, we are meeting and moving towards meeting all of our metrics, and there will be no changes with any of the goals essentially this evening. And in goal 1, what we're really proud of is that we are maintaining safe and supportive learning environments. And the one notable difference that you would see on the LCAP was for the 24-25 school year, we were unable to hire an ELD teacher, and that was one of the actions in this goal. However, I'm happy to report that we're still working on the hiring process, but we do have someone who is committed for the job for this next school year, so we're very excited to have them join our team. So that will be a new change for this coming year. As with most of the goals, you'll notice an increase in staffing costs, but essentially all of the goals we're meeting, and we're excited about that for goal 1. So for goal 2, our social emotional goal, I wanted to highlight an engagement. I wanted to highlight increased graduation rate. Graduation rate is a metric for goal 2 and for goal 3. As you know, we have a 4-year cohort graduation rate and a 1-year graduation rate. And both of those increased this year and are at where we were hoping them to be. So that is excellent. In this goal, we were required to have an action for our special education department. This is our department here at the county office for students who are in the moderate to severe program, and to work on the chronic absenteeism. And that department has worked on decreasing chronic absenteeism through communication, and we are showing progress on that as well, which is excellent. We've maintained and grown our health and wellness team. I wanted to highlight that in the next year, we are doing more collaborative support with our student support department and alternative education. And we're hiring more credentialed and licensed counselors for our programs who will now have more support from administrators, myself, Lauren Fine, and our new mental health coordinator, Makali. So we have a team and we have support in place to help our students, and we're very excited about that partnership. There were no noticeable differences to the LCAP for goal 2. For goal 3, college and career supports and community engagement. For this goal and actions, our community through our surveys and through our metrics have shown that our community continues to appreciate our collaboration with community partnerships, our different field trips, and our learning opportunities for our students for career exploration and soft skill development. So we have increased contracts with different community organizations. Additionally, this year was year 1 in our college and career building our robust team. And our teacher on special assignment, Lynn Cooley, who leads that team, has done a remarkable job in systematizing our college and career supports and dual enrollment opportunities for our students. And that will continue to grow. This was year 1, and it was amazing to see how far that team was able to go, and we are looking forward to where we will go next. For goal 4, which is our coordination of foster youth and expelled youth supports, we'll say we are meeting this, and again, our relationship with our student support services department, collaborating on county-wide supports for our foster youth, has been and continues to be exceptional. We have case managers and support people who work not only for alternative education, but every single district in the county. They also do professional development for districts and alternative education. And we have such a collaborative atmosphere in Santa Cruz to support our foster youth. Now, for students who are expelled from our local school districts, we have countywide, all of our student services directors, myself included, come together monthly to help support and mitigate expulsions and also to build the relationships necessary to be able to collaborate when a kid is going through the expulsion process, that we know each other and we can work together to ensure that they are in the proper, they have the proper school to go to, and that it is done very quickly. So very proud of both our supports for our foster youth in the community, as well as students who are expelled. Also, our advocacy for students who have completed their expulsion terms who wish to return to their districts. We work with students and families on that as well. Goal 5 for our equity multiplier goal. And this image is a recent image from a college student that we have just from very, very recently working on his college course. And I just want to highlight this individual. He took a class recently, and it was an English class, English 1A, I believe it is. And on his first essay, he got a perfect score, and is doing extremely well. I want to highlight that we work very closely with Rising Scholars, and we have increased, as I mentioned before, through our college and career team and the increasing number of credentialed counselors that we have, support for students. So the small amount of money that we get from the equity multiplier goes towards this effort. Now, last year, when we made the goal when we had a higher number of students in our court school program. We have a very small number of high school students in our court school program. We do support graduates who are there as well. But so while 3 students doesn't sound like many students who are dually enrolled and going to college, it's because we don't have many students in our court school program, which is a good problem to have. And last, but definitely not least, what we all came here to talk about is the budget. Let's just be honest, it's 1,000-something pages, and there's a lot of it that has to do with the budget in your packet tonight. So while I won't speak too much on it, I just wanted to highlight that one difference you might have seen in the COE LCAP is the pie charts and the budget overview for parents looked a little bit different. And that's because of funding changes and a requirement by the state to include other things. So I took a snapshot of our current basically revenues and expenditures for the upcoming year for 25-26. And in here, you'll notice things that you didn't see last year, like the Student Support and Enrichment Block Grant. And so that's one of the notable changes that's here. But as you can see, the main thing that is checked by the state is that we are planning to expend our supplemental and concentration funds, and that we are utilizing our alternative education block grant, and we are. And what will happen next is in August, the beginning of August, the state fiscal reviewers will dig through our budget and they'll dig through our LCAP, and then they connect with our business department and myself, and we review it together. But I put this in here for your reference, but I do know that there will be another presentation on the entire budget. So we can definitely ask our business department for any specific fiscal questions you might have, but I am here now to thank you. And if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer. Sony's timing me over there. Am I doing okay? Okay, good.
Thank you. Any members from the public that would like to speak on this matter? All right. I will now open it up for questions and comments from the board. Any trustees that want to have questions or comments for Dr. Isaac Gonzalez? No? Okay. Great. I hereby declare the public hearing regarding the 2025-2026 LCAP of the Santa Cruz County Office of Education closed. Thank you, Dr. Isaac Gonzalez.
Thank you. And thank you, Natalie.
Yes. Reminder that the County Board of Education will consider the approval of the 2025-2026 LCAP at our next board meeting on June 26th. Look forward to seeing everybody there. All right, now we will move on to item 13.2. I hereby declare open the public hearing regarding the 2025-2026 Local Control Accountability Plan of the Santa Cruz County Charter Advancement Career Advancement Charter School. Again, the board is here to listen at this time and will not be taking action until our third board meeting on June 26th. Staff will make their opening presentation to the board. Public comments and inputs will then be received. The board will then have an opportunity to ask the presenter clarifying questions. Then the public hearing will be closed. For this one, we have Denise Guerra Sanson, Executive Director of our student program. You may now make your presentation to the board regarding the 2025-2026 LCAP for the Santa Cruz County Career Advancement Charter School.
Thank you, President Sanchez, and good evening, everyone. I want to start by acknowledging all of you for your support and acknowledge my gratitude for our superintendent supporting this important program for adult learners, and also to my colleagues here from our business department and alternative education. Jen and I work closely on compliance things and help each other out, and I am really, really grateful for the partnership. With that, I'm going to start my presentation here. I like to start also with our mission. I think I've been here a lot with you lately with the charter and our WASC visit. So just some reminders, we are an adult program for adult learners to earn their high school diploma across the county. And it is our mission to meet our students where they are with a flexible, very flexible and adult focused program. And again, to meet them where they are, that is paramount in our program, focusing on academic, career, as well as technical skills for our students. As a reminder, just where we are in the community, currently at 7 locations, and very quickly we'll be at the 119 West Beach Street in downtown Watsonville. That's not on the list yet. We're not occupying just yet. But you see where all of our locations are currently. I wanted to highlight this slide because these are program highlights that you will see throughout the LCAP. These different support services live in our 3 central goals, really focused on helping students access services to achieve their high school diploma. So the child care facility in Watsonville, it is called out often in the LCAP, and students refer to it too in their feedback. Mental health and social emotional counseling, you'll hear about that as well. And transition support services is a very important part of what we do for our students to go to the next thing after earning their high school diploma. This is the same slide that Jen shared with you, just a reminder of what the LCAP is. As she said, this is not a new plan, right? So I'm here to tell you about how year 1 went. And so you won't see any new goals, but again, same report. Our goals, we only have 3. And the first one is all around achievement. The second one around student support. And our third one is around community outreach and engagement. And so I'm not going to read those to you, but this is, again, what was approved when the plan was first approved. So this 3-year plan, just finishing our first year. And again, we have 3 goals. We are not required to have any certain number. And so those are the goals that I'll be sharing with you today. So for goal 1, similar format to the alternative education presentation. For achievement, we have met our implementation goals. So all of our planned actions were implemented successfully, and we believe are contributing meaningfully to our progress. Some of those highlights include that we did hire not 1, but 2 CAC teachers this past school year. One of them is bilingual. A new position for us is the senior instructional aide that has been successfully implemented. We've made quite a lot of purchases this year for instructional materials. So that number is actually it's a lot higher than what was budgeted. But our program has also grown quite a bit this year. And so those are some of the highlights around implementation, and also our collaborative professional learning for our WASC self-study. That's definitely was a highlight. Notable differences Again, no changes. Only change includes adding staff to support our growing program, specifically in the areas of ESL, independent study instruction, and instructional aid support. You have this in the report, but I wanted to include a snapshot of our metrics for Goal 1. You see some fluctuation in the California School Dashboard graduation rate. That happens pretty much every year for us because all of our students are 12th graders. Let's see, I wanted to just point out metric 1.4, quite a large increase there in credit accrual. So we went from 16% as our baseline to 51% of students earning 45 credits or more per year. So we look for meaningful metrics that make sense to us because of things like the California School Dashboard. It doesn't work so well for the Career Advancement Charter. And that's a big jump. I think that part of that is the increase in students. And what you see in parentheses is the numerator and denominator, so that we're accurate year over year. So how many students over ADA, how many students earn 45 credits or more over ADA is the denominator. So 51%. And I pulled some data from our Cyber High, which is an online system. We had about 45 courses passed since October, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 200-ish credits. So really that's working well. And I wanted to highlight that for y'all. Goal 2 around student support, that is a picture from this year in our early care classroom, our evening program. We also made significant progress towards this goal in supporting our adult students with reentry. So we did implement CTE courses in various locations, including our locked facilities. Our support team, our transition support team, was able to provide comprehensive support to our students. I mentioned the on-site childcare. We did provide enrichment opportunities, including a photography class and a baking class, Panaderia Artesanal. And all actions were implemented with the exception of hiring a CAC student worker. That just didn't come together this year. One notable difference for moving forward is that we are also adding, you heard Jen talk about a mental health counselor in support or in collaboration with our own COE student services department. And we're excited about having a full-time mental health clinician for our CAC program. And additionally, we plan to expand our visual arts enrichment opportunities in partnership with Alternative Education. Here, just quickly for progress and growth for Goal 2, I wanted to point out 2.3 and 2.4 are both new metrics, so baseline established this year. 2.3 is post-secondary education placement, so students who have graduated and are moving on to a post-secondary institution, we're at 23% for this year. And then 2.4, we're hearing about dual enrollment, so co-enrolled at either community college or technical training, and that's at 21%. So those numbers are around 30-ish students, and so we've established our baseline for that metric this year. So Goal 3 is around outreach, and as we say here too, that our actions were implemented effectively, making meaningful progress toward expanding access and capacity. I mentioned the 119 building opening in August. That's moving along really well. Something that I think I've shared with you is our student onboarding program. We are calling it Foundations to Success, where we are working to improve enrollment, orientation, and student retention. We have some really excellent data on that so far. Active participants in our GOAL Consortium, which is our Adult Education Consortium partnership, and then the cross-department collaboration. And I called out some of the departments that we work with: ALTED, Sueños, Student Services, Human Resources, M&O, and Business. So a lot of collaboration going on. And then I mentioned the increased programming at our correctional facilities. That is a photo of Chef Mackenzie and our first week of students at Blaine Street Women's Facility, and they did fruit and cheese platters. It was a pilot class that we did, and I just received word this week, actually, that the Sheriff's Office is going to sponsor us $16,000 to have 4 cohorts next year. So it was a huge success. And not all the students were there at the end because they're released. But we staggered the certification so that if you're there week 3, you're getting the food handlers certificate. And we had 3 finish successfully for this first round. So I'm very, very proud of that. And then here are metrics. I think the most notable is that student enrollment. So enrollment meaning they came to our program. They made it to the front door. They made it into Power School. They may not have stayed. You see our ADA is very different there. In 3.2, our ADA is at 208, and student enrollment, 425 students came through the CAC doors at some point this year. So steady, very steady growth there. And then 3.5 is also a new metric. So around engagement, this is the students measuring their own level of engagement in the program. And so we're at 67% of students feeling that they're very engaged or engaged in programs. And we want to continue to get students onto campus. It's one of our goals. Okay. The budget overview for, I put for parents in parentheses there because we don't have, this isn't for the parents. But the numbers are there. We get significantly less money than our ALTED partners and our supplemental and concentration funds. It's about $133,000 there. And I also put on the left there what's sort of superimposed that you can't read very well, but local funds are at 558 and our state funds at 436. And again, you have this information as well. Total expenditures are just over 2 million, and what's budgeted in our LCAP is right about 1.2. That's what that chart is. And then lastly, this is for this year. So the total funds that we budgeted for our students with high needs was at 218, and actuals came in at 207. So just under what we had budgeted there. And then lastly, I'm not going to read these either. The first 4 are in English and the bottom are in Spanish. Essentially, our students are so grateful for the opportunities that we provide for them. It's hard to elicit like critical feedback from them because they are so grateful. But we continue to ask, and they call out people by name. They really talk a lot about that idea of second chances. And it's not just for 18 and 19-year-olds, it's for older people too who want to come back and get their diploma. And so very proud of the work that we're able to do because of the support of the County Office of Education. And that is my presentation.
Thank you. Members of the public, anybody present that would like to speak on the matter? Okay. Members of the board, any trustees that have questions or comments for? No? Okay. Great. I hereby declare the public hearing regarding the 2025-2026 LCAP of the Santa Cruz County Career Advancement Charter School closed. Thank you, Ms. Guerra Sanson. The County Board of Education will consider the 25-26 LCAP of the Career Advancement Charter at our next board meeting, June 26th at 5:30 p.m. And we have one more item, 13.3. I hereby declare open the public hearing regarding the proposed 25-26 budget of the Santa Cruz County Office of Education. The board is here to listen at this time and will not be taking action until the June 26th County Board meeting. Staff will make their opening presentation to the board. Public comment and input will be received. The board will have an opportunity to ask clarifying questions. Then the public hearing will be closed. For this one, we have Leanne Reyes, Deputy Superintendent of the Business Services. You may now make your presentation to the board regarding the proposed 25-26 budget of the Santa Cruz County Office of Education.
Thank you, President Sanchez. In the business department, we really strive to make things fun for people. Those of you who haven't had the opportunity to experience the fun we have every day in the business department, we thought we'd bring you in. I have my lovely Vanna, this would be Melissa, I apologize. We are going to hand out a little bingo card for you so that you can stay awake and engaged in this. Look at Edward's giggling over there. And I think bingo's pretty self-explanatory. Wrong game, but next time we'll try that one. No free spaces, no. So I think we all know how to play. Yeah? You want to give any other instructions or are we good? Feel free to shout out. You will get bragging rights if you win. No other prizes will be presented. We are on a budget after all. Go ahead.
So some of you know I'm a big fan of PBIS and positive behavioral interventions and supports. I give out gold stars and gold sparkle stars with little notes on them pretty frequently. So because this was kind of a last minute thought on how can we make our presentation a little more fun, I will offer a sparkle star for whomever is able to get bingo first. And there's no free spaces, but all of the acronyms and words that you see on your card are somewhere in this presentation. So good luck. No pressure. No pressure.
So do we have to hear the acronym? Or can we hear the whole phrase used?
Either, I would say either. would be
Either
fair.
or. And there's a list of what the acronyms mean, just in case, you know, it's hard to follow along. There's a lot of them. And I also, for things like ADA, only put the one we're referring to, not all 4 versions of what ADA could mean. So, you know, just.
We just got it.
Ah, there's your free square. No, we'll let you count that as a free square. How's that?
Good luck.
Right.
Bruce and I both did that.
Well, welcome everyone. We've had a really exciting evening tonight. It was really great to see all of our retirees and all of our candidates and our leaders in the county. It was really thrilling. It helps us all reground ourselves as to why we're here and what we do. So it was really enjoyable. So we wanted to start off this evening by thanking all of our department managers, coordinators, and support staff for their help in helping with the preparation of this budget. And especially a big, large thank you to the internal business department team of Natia, Tara, Shay, Brooke, and my M&Ms. Of course, Michelle and Melissa. Because I always mix their names out, so I just call them the M&Ms. Okay, so today's topics are going to be budget and the reporting process, our variances between the 24-25 second interim and estimated actuals, since that was the last time we got to talk about budget. Our assumption used for the proposed 25-26 adoption budget. Overview of the proposed 25-26 adoption budget with the multi-year projections, what's next, and our recommendations. So you're very familiar with this next slide. Just very briefly, where we are in our cycle right now is at estimated actuals for 24-25 and the 25-26 budget adoption, which needs to be board approved no later than July 1st. Estimated actuals is an opportunity for us to kind of set the jumping off point for where we think our beginning balance is going to be for the 25-26 adopted budget. So it's an especially busy time for us because not only are we working on assumptions for next year, we're also trying to clean and skinny up as much as possible what's happening in the current year so that we can go forward with hopefully a close number when we go to close the books. So looking at the next slide, here's a look at our numbers. And we will talk about some of the major changes after this slide. So we started off at second interim with a estimated beginning balance of 36.5 million. That hasn't changed. Well, that's good news. Our beginning balance shouldn't. So, okay. Revenues and transfers in, we did realize an additional $2.3 million between our second interim report versus our estimated actuals. Our expenditures and transfers out decreased $1.4 million from 77 million down to 75 million. So when you take that increased revenue and decreased expenditures, we are currently experiencing an increase to our ending fund balance of $3.8 million. So that brings us to our estimated ending fund balance of 42.5 million, and that is an increase of $3.8 million. The way that $42 million breaks down, it's 13 million of totally restricted funds, almost $14 million, which which as we all know, comes with a lot of strings and requirements. And then our assigned or unrestricted side of the budget has a estimated ending fund balance currently of $28.8 million. So some of the changes between second interim and our estimated actuals. Our revenue improvement is fairly equal between the unrestricted and restricted side. We had $1.1 million on unrestricted. That was primarily because of our MAW program. Those are 100% pass-through funds. Comes to us and we pass them back out to the districts. And then also on our interest earnings, we actually have interest earnings, and that hasn't happened in a really long time, that we can actually take a conservative guess and have us be wrong and have more. That's really an exciting thing. On the restricted side of the budget, it was an increase of $1.2 million, and that was mostly for a lot of block grants. You can see some of the details of what those are on the second bullet on the slide. A lot of things are coming in also for Michael Painter's programs, which are all related to our wellness centers and things of that nature. Planned expenditures were projected to decline and to be used, though, in our subsequent years. We've had a very robust conversation about how we receive money in with our budget committee that we met earlier this week. Well, I think that might have been yesterday, but that's okay. It was earlier. And we talked a lot about how money coming in and money going out on the restricted side of the budget because of the fact that we get a lot of money paid up front, and then we usually spend that money over the course of multiple years. So sometimes it's scary when you look at your restricted budget because you see this really big deficit, but it's because it's an intentional deficit when we're spending down monies we may have received years prior. Let me keep going through here. I think the last thing I'd like to say on this slide, it's important to note that these are not our final numbers. More than likely, expenses will continue to decrease, which will result in a larger ending fund balance once we close our books. This can be driven by any remaining balances that might be sitting out there on purchase orders or what we call extra work agreements that might have been encumbered but not fully spent. So for example, right now in our general fund, Fund 01, we have an estimated, are we sitting? $6 million sitting on our financial statements with a status of encumbered. And these are all non-salary expense accounts, so our supplies, contracts, things of that nature. This $6 million amount is spread over nearly 575 budget codes, and that's a combined number from the unrestricted and restricted side. The single largest account value encumbered right now is $1.7 million. That's Dr. Painter, yes. And of the 575 lines of budget accounts with encumbrances, 513 of those have a value of $10,000 or less. So that also helps put into perspective how difficult it is sometimes for us to nail the final balance, because we have a lot of departments that are like, oh, but I'm going to spend that last $10,000 in May or June. And as much as we work with them and are like, but are you going to have the goods done by before the end of June? Are you going to receive the items? Are you going to? And it's always yes, yes, yes. And then a really big number falls out because, oh, the shipping didn't come in time or whatever. So I'm just kind of trying to put into perspective how many lines of budget we have to try to maintain and chase people down over as far as their encumbrances are concerned, and how it can really have a large influence on our final results. So this is a really big piece of what oftentimes have us end up with that higher number than we had originally anticipated. So those are the highlights of the current year that we're in. So let's go ahead and move into our proposed 25-26 adoption budget. How are the bingo cards coming, by the way? Did you give up, or are you playing, Ferris?
Yes.
You know, those sparkle stars are really cool. I had to work really late the other night, and Melissa actually wrote one and sent it home to my husband. He wouldn't let me read the back side, but he has a gold sparkle star. Okay, we're going to start with what really helps us drive out our assumptions when it comes to our budget, and that's our funded ADA assumptions. So funded ADA assumptions on this chart, again, should be familiar to us. This is 5 years. It's 23-24 for our prior year, our current year. Of course, the 25-26, which is in is the budget year, and then our 2 out years for the multi-year projection. No news flash here. Districts throughout the state are still continuing to experience declining enrollment, which also translates to declining ADA. Our Alt Ed programs are anticipating a slight decrease in enrollment and ADA in the subsequent years. And it's important to mention that actual ADA and funded ADA are 2 different things. And what we're looking at right now is the funded ADA. So back in 23-24, sorry, I've been dealing with hiccups all day today. I'm trying to like swallow it back there. Okay. COEs were granted the ability for funded ADA to have a third option, which is the addition of having the 3 prior years average, which was, we were falling behind districts. District had that capability way ahead of us at the COE. So we were very excited when we were also given this opportunity to use what I refer to as smoothing ADA, so you don't have these big drops. So in the 24-25 fiscal year, AltEd's actual estimate for ADA is 877. But due to this new funding methodology, our funding being recognized was based on 906 ADA. So that's really cool until the small numbers start catching up with you. And so this is what we're anticipating for our future out years, that some of the smaller numbers, when that lower ADA actually kicks in, will come back to be something that we may need to talk to. Because, for example, AltEd estimated their actual ADA in 24-25 is 877. For the budget year, 867. And you can see how that varies from what's on our chart. 26-27, 857, and 848 for 27-28. But we do use those numbers as a basis to try to hop into the next fiscal year assumptions. Okay, budget planning factors. Okay, so when these are some of the major factors that we use when pulling together our revenue assumptions for the budget year and the out years. When we look at the cost of living adjustment or COLA used, and we compare that to the school services of California's May revised dartboard, you're familiar with that, and I believe it's also in your packet. You can see that the COE is using very conservative rates to estimate its revenue. And this is due to the instability still being experienced with, well, our state revenues, but also our federal revenues. Even if we're not precisely being cut or eliminated on a particular federal funding source, it's more the economic uncertainty that spreads throughout other things. We know California is a huge capital gains state. And when the stock market and people are, having fear in investing or buying and selling, it does have an impact on our state economy as well. So although the dartboard is suggesting COLA for the budget year of 2.3, 3.02, and 3.4, and you can see on the bottom, it's kind of dark on the slide over there, but we're using a lower rate. That'll be on, I think the next one, whoever's driving. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so other expenditures that we use for our planning of the largest part of our budget, which is our personnel costs. We have a very flat and stagnant, if you will, CalSTRS rate currently. Please don't rub your eyes in disbelief, but yes, that CalPERS number is actually lower than the current year. That's not a typo. They actually had really good investment gains and the rate did drop down ever so slightly. So we use those assumptions for building out our budget. Bingo, gold star. Should we make him read back his answers? Should we audit? Vanna, could you take his card to the back and audit to make sure that?
So I had to go to ink.
Congratulations. Y'all can keep playing. We'll go for blackout. Okay. Health and welfare, we used a 7% assumption and then very flat assumptions for the other statutory such as FICA, Medicare, SUI, and workers' comp. There's more detailed information on your assumptions. I appreciated that Greg told me that was one of the pages I looked for when we were working. One of the first things I looked at was what were your assumptions. So that's page 317 in your board packet for you to check out later in your copious spare time. Okay, next slide.
It's only one page.
It's not that bad, no. So as much as we talk about what's in our budget, we want to make sure we talk about what's not included in the budget. We just sometimes have to wait because what they say and then what really comes out in the devil of the details of our trailer bill language can be really different. So the COE has applied for multiple grants, but as a reminder, we will not include those revenues or expenditures until we actually receive confirmation that those grants will be awarded. So we can anticipate more, funding as the year continues to mature. 25-26 is, however, the final year of funding for several of our multi-year grants, but we will continue to reapply for funding as it becomes available to us. So again, as I mentioned earlier about trailer bill language, that's kind of where we drum our fingers on the tabletop and say what's really going to happen when the budget actually gets signed. One small example of this is the Student Support and Discretionary Block Grant, which you may or may not have heard a lot about. It was initially proposed as a one-time $1.8 billion worth of discretionary money that was going to come with suggestions on how you should spend it, but you can use it however you want. But if you can, that kind of a grant. Okay. It dropped to 1.7 billion in May. But the legislature is dropping that down to $500 million. So that's a pretty big bump. Because anyone who may have been thinking about that $1.7 billion number, that would have been about $305 per ADA. They are way over budgeted. And so that's always the guidance that we share when we put out our common messages. Some of these things that are really discretionary, sometimes that's where the, the red pen comes out and things get changed a lot. So that's something that we didn't budget for. We're going to wait and see what happens once the dust settles. So in the meantime, School Services says that to share that the, legislature has come to an agreement on the state budget, but this does not include Governor Newsom yet. So while the above information is helpful, we know what the legislature's priorities are. We just have to wait for that final deal to be happening and for Governor Newsom, if he's not too distracted, to sign the budget on time. Kind of curious to see if he will make time to sign it and how that's going to go for him, because he's got his hands a little bit full right now. A tiny bit full. Okay. If you want to know where the data comes from for this next slide, just make a note that it's pages 228 through 243 of your board packets. And this is our proposed adopted budget. So overall, our total revenues for the unrestricted side of the budget is about $33.5 million. And our restricted side of the budget, very large right now at 40.6 million for a total of $74.2 million. Our expenditures unrestricted, 37.4 million, restricted 43.5. So you can see again in our expenditures are greater than what our new revenues are, leaving us with an $80.9 million expenditure budget. So we are currently predicting a unrestricted deficit of 3.8 million with an ending fund balance of 24.9. On our restricted budget, it's going to be a decrease of about 2.8 million, ending fund balance 10.8, or a total budget of $35.8 million. Of that, again, restricted budgets, 10.8 million, and our assigned and unrestricted ending fund balance is estimated to come in at $24.9 million. So historically, our adopted budgets always show a really large budget, a large budgeted deficit. 25-26, once again, no exception. For example, a very large example that happened to us this year, the COE budgets, its UPP counts, in your card, I'm not sure, at 49%. And the reason we do that is anything over 50%, actually it's 49.999%, because anything over 50% generates additional concentration grant dollars. And this was the case in 24-25. Our alt ed folks went out and did a great job of getting all the necessary documentation. They came back in with a 65%, which was high for us, but it also generated an additional $1 million. So part of our conservative approach is we don't want to assume that we're going to end up with another historical large number. So we're going to go with what we know, which is we're going to get supplemental dollars. And then anything else that may come on over that 50%, if it's significant or material at the time, we definitely will be seeing that by my first interim. We should probably be seeing that. So that might be one of our explanations. If our revenue for our LCFF comes in significantly higher, it'll be because we got a larger unduplicated pupil count number in. The other thing that also keep in mind when we're talking about our budgeted deficit is there's such a variability in that UPP number. We really try to remain cautious. The same holds true with our vacancies. And in salaries alone, just in salaries alone, we have approximately $900,000 of vacancies. That means I don't have health and welfare in that number. I don't have FICA in that number. The reason for that, again, is we always want to assume that on July 1, everybody's going to come and want to work at the COE because we are amazing here. So if they're not coming to work for us, that's on them. That's all I have to say. But we do have to budget for that just in case, right? And then if they don't all start on July 1, let's say they start in September or November or January, we start kind of skinnying that number down as the year progresses. Lastly, I wanted to share with you a little historical slide. I have shared this information. This is one of the slides I shared with our subcommittee team, just to help you, be still my heart when you see like, wow, this is what we've budgeted, but where do we really end up at the end of the day? And so this screenshot does help show how our ending fund balance on the unrestricted side of our budget is always estimated. That's going to be kind of, I guess it's kind of a brownish olive color, a darker color up there, versus where it actually always has ended up historically, which is the green bar. And then that light blue bar is actually where we think we might be ending up right now, the 24-25 projected, but that will change to green once we close our books. So, I know it sounds scary and, it doesn't feel good. It's not a feel good number when you see a deficit of that size, but bear in mind our estimated reserve at 25-26 is about 30%. And we have an additional 5% in our Fund 17. So we are well within what our statutorily requirements are. So I just want to make sure to kind of put how big is that ballpark that we're actually sitting in, and make sure everybody's got the box seats and aren't afraid that we're up in the nosebleed seats or anything. Okay, so major items that were contributing to our projected unrestricted deficit, again, negotiations have been settled, and so that number was included in all of our salary projections. Our increased health and welfare costs, any staff that's currently in the unrestricted resource, this does happen quite frequently, that they shift over to the restricted budget because a new grant might come in that we can apply their time to working with that grant. And so that does help us oftentimes on the unrestricted side of the budget. The increased health and welfare costs. And then also we have some tech infrastructure improvements. We've got some building maintenance, some facility improvements. We're finishing up some of the investments we have for our new facility down in Beach Street in Watsonville. So all those costs are in here, and or those costs are being moved around to help provide support for those items. When we think about our MYP, you can see the next slide. These are our major assumptions for the out years. Again, negotiation settlement step and column is included. You probably heard and seen most of these numbers, so I don't think I'll spend too much time on this slide. Our COLA assumptions, my favorite little guy from SpongeBob, you never know what's going to happen. And so I just really love this slide because it shows us just how much, what a difference a day makes, what a difference a cycle in budgeting can make when the state comes out and says, oh, we think out here in year XYZ, this is what your COLA is going to be, and then where it can sometimes grow or sometimes it can really fall apart on you. So this is just, again, just nice data to, and I like that guy too. He's cute. All right, so our combined multi-year projection, we're on page 342 of your board packet. And our first column is talking again at a very high level, our estimated actuals. For our budget year, we're going to just drop down to that line that says what our ending fund balance we project it to be. Again, this is combined. So for the budget year, it's 35.8 million. For our future year, it's 29.1 million. And then for future year 27, 28, it's 22.7 million. And of that, our unrestricted ending fund balance, which is the very bottom number on this chart for 25, 26, it's just under $25 million, 22 million for 26, 27, and then 18.5 million. And one of the really cool things is we did have a good negotiations this year. We had a really good settlement for all of our employee units. And when we finished all the work on this multi-year projection, I said, I got to go back and look. What did I assume when we were working through negotiations? And we were within like $40,000. So I'm very excited that the numbers all come together like that. Lastly, we have like kind of a new slide. I know we don't really talk a lot about our other funds, and I think it's kind of tiny, but basically the only thing I really wanted to show you here is we do operate several funds. We rarely talk about them with you. They're always in your packet. If you really want to understand like, well, what is Fund 14 for? There's that great cover page before each fund that kind of explains what it's for. I'm just sharing this with you so that you can see that all of our funds are ending in positive estimated ending fund balances, and that's really critical when we go forward to our certifications. We have next slide is our SACS criteria and standards review in the new streamlined table. Basically, everything that had a not met on it, it was very easy to explain. It's always, for example, a lot of things are being driven out by ADA, and ADA always impacts revenue, and revenue impacts expenditures, and that impacts our ending fund balance. So once you get it kind of flows through all the other aspects of your budget. So I think that the one A5, which is the one on the very, very bottom, that not met's going to be with us for the whole year because of the rate that we settled for versus what the COLA is going to be. And so just, you're going to see A5 a couple of more times before the year's over. So what's next is we are going to come back on June 26 and recommend that the board approve this budget pending any public comments. And the COE's 25-26 school service fund adopted budget will be updated the first time at the 45-day revise if, once the budget is signed, any material changes come about that we feel should be reflected in the budget. Otherwise, at our subsequent interim periods, as information matures throughout the years, of course, then we continue to tweak our budget. So the last what's next, your favorite. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. Comments from the public? Comments from the board? Yes, Larson?
I'll just say thank you for rescheduling the budget committee meeting when two of us couldn't make it on the day it was originally scheduled for. It was great. Edward and I were able to meet yesterday and it was very helpful. So no questions tonight. Do love the assumptions. The other thing that I really appreciated is when we met in the meeting, Edward and I asked about the places where standards were not met and that you provided explanatory information on all of those. And we just asked, well, are any of those significant or of concern? And you said, other than the labor one, not really. And the labor one was our own choice. And we'll hear more about that at the next meeting when the public disclosure happens. Or July, thank you.
You're welcome.
So thank you for that budget meeting. It laid my questions.
Pleasure.
Perfect. Any other comments? If not, I hereby declare the public hearing regarding the proposed 25-26 budget of the Santa Cruz County Office of Education closed. Thank you, Ms. Reyes, the county board. We'll follow up with you. The County Board of Education will consider approval of the 25-26 budget of the Santa Cruz County Office of Education at our next board meeting, June 26th at 5:30 p.m. Okay, new business now. We'll start with 14.1, Memorandum of Understanding with the Charter School Authorization for Santa Cruz County Charter Advancement, Career Advancement Charter. I don't know why I do that. And for that one, we have Dr. Sabah and Dr. Russell.
Yes, thank you, members of the board. So one of the things that we identified as an important component that needed to be included in the as part of our renewal process for the Career Advancement Charter was to have a memorandum of understanding that really identifies the relationship between the County Office of Education and the Career Advancement Charter. In some ways, even though it's a dependent charter, by law, by definition, charters are considered somewhat separate entities. And so it's important to define that relationship. And that's why we included the memorandum of understanding that was included in your packet. And so we utilize a template that is utilized by Fresno County Office of Education. We modified it to really show that even though the Career Advancement Charter is a charter school and a separate entity, that we in many ways treat it as a part of our, as part of the County Office of Education collection of schools. They are not a separate 501c3. They do not have a separate governing board. You are the authorizing board and the governing board for the Career Advancement Charter. And so all authority really rests under the responsibilities of the county board as well as the County Office of Education. And so at this point, I'd just like to know if you have any questions with regard to the MOU that was. So we would like to ask for your approval of the Memorandum of Understanding. I did want to clarify that it is a best practice to have a Memorandum of Understanding that is approved annually. So it will be brought back to you on an annual basis. This allows us to update the Memorandum of Understanding if there are any changes. Possibly this could be included in a consent agenda item in the future. But since this is our first Memorandum of Understanding, we wanted to bring it to your attention for approval. And it is important for us to have this Memorandum of Understanding in place prior to your approval of the renewal of the charter.
Questions or comments from the board? Yes.
Well,
Ben Allen.
actually, what you just said was my first question, which is what about the timing? But well, this seems good because the charter is expanding, it's growing, it's adding more students, more programs, and this is the kind of thing that 10, 15 years from now, some problem develops and there's an awkward situation and it's not clear. This is why we want this now so that doesn't happen. So I think I'm really glad you took this step.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
I just had one, and it's minor, but there is a point in there of about access to schools, and it's really more about, and I'm not sure if it's included in just some of the policies that we already have about individuals having access to the schools. And there was a general term in there that said any federal agency. And so with our current environment, I was wondering, is that something that can be worded so that it is not so broad, or could it refer to a newer policy about access to the schools?
Thank you. I really appreciate you bringing that to our attention, and if we'll definitely look at that and modify it, that could be part of the motion for approval to limit it to the greatest extent possible in terms of access to.
Would it be in compliance with policy, the access policy? Well,
So you have approved a policy that really minimizes access for outside entities, including federal agencies, to our information. And so we can, as you're saying, we'll reference that policy as to ensure compliance.
So I would make the motion to approve with that stipulation that it would be added to reference our policy of access.
Second. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Any other questions or comments? No? Okay. So we have okay. So if there is no more questions, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Passes unanimously. Next up, we have the 14.2 petition to renew career advancement charter school with Dr. Russell and Denise Guerra Sanson.
So I'll share with you, this is, as you mentioned, the renewal report. So the petition was submitted. We are at the bullet point 4. So we're holding the decision hearing. That's today. In the process, the board will vote to approve or deny the renewal petition for CAC. According to AB 1505, which is the more current legislation regarding charter renewal process, there are only 3 reasons in which a board of trustees can choose to deny the renewal. That is, if the school is deemed low performance by the state, if there are fiscal or accountability concerns that arise, or if there is a failure to serve all students. In the past, conditional approvals were allowed. Conditional approvals are no longer allowed. So it must be a full approval or a full denial. There is also the option to delay for 30 days for additional information. So we took the Career Advancement Charter renewal petition and completed with the Board Charter Committee a report and recommendation. First, as the charter representative for the county office, I reviewed the entire packet. All required components of the renewal petition were included. Key findings that we found were CAC is deemed a middle performing charter by the state. Therefore, it is eligible for a 5-year renewal. There are no fiscal or accountability concerns that were identified. CAC does serve all students, actually even including those traditionally underserved by traditional public schools. And there is a material revision in this charter petition. The material revision included additional campuses and an expanded population, so increasing numbers of students as well as additional campuses. The renewal petition does demonstrate CAC's capacity to maintain a quality program with those material revisions, and the recommendation of the committee is renewal for the 5-year period. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments from anybody on the board? From the public? No? Okay.
Did the committee review the MOU as well?
No, the committee doesn't review the MOU. The MOU is not part.
Comes from staff.
It comes from staff to you. It is not a required portion of renewal. It is considered a best practice to have that MOU approved prior to renewal.
Perfect. I just want to call out and say that I am glad that there's this resource in our community. And I think the numbers say it all, right? The fact where we see declining enrollment in a lot of programs across the state, but this one's actually increasing. So must be doing something right. So congratulations to everybody. I'm very proud of that program and all the success we've had with it. So I am looking now for a motion. For ready to make one.
I'll motion to approve resolution 2519 to approve petition to renew the Career Advancement Charter School.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll enthusiastically second, and thanks everybody for the great work.
Thank you. We have a first and a second. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Student trustee Hopkins?
Aye.
Student trustee Marcus?
Aye.
Vice President Estrada,
Yes.
Trustee Larson,
Yes.
Trustee Van Allen, Trustee Williams,
Yes.
President Sanchez,
Yes.
Trustee Roth.
Yes.
Congratulations. Passes unanimously. Dr. Sabah?
I just want to say thank you. It's one, thank you to the board for your leadership and support of the Career Advancement Charter, to Marcia and Leanne for leading the process for this renewal process, and of course everybody in Ed Services and our business services, and then a huge thank you to Sony Sanson. She's been an amazing leader of this charter school and has taken it to in ways that we couldn't have imagined, and the future looks so bright. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for continuing to build on these opportunities. This has been a huge year with the WASC study, the renewal, and so, you know, and of course providing those needed services with an amazing team of people. And so it's really it's been one of the greatest joys of my work as a superintendent to watch this amazing delivery of services for our community, and such a beautiful representation of all of our hard work, our cumulative hard work, including your leadership as a board. Thank you. And congratulations.
Okay. Moving on, now we have the superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you so much, President Sanchez. A brief report. Sure. Just, of course, you know, as we look at reflection and renewal, and especially when I think about what you'll see, you know, the different parts of our organization, looking backwards in some ways, and at the same time looking forward and excited for another school year. Part of that is our participation in the community with Pride, the Pride celebration, and of course the graduation. Thank you for being a part of those wonderful celebrations, and of course also award ceremonies recognizing the work of the COE for our community. Summer school is in full swing with over 1,000 students enrolled in our alternative education and special education programs, and you know, reminder that the COE is a year-round organization in a lot of ways. We already heard a little bit about the opening of 119 West Beach in the fall, and so at some point we'd love to have maybe a subcommittee that would join us to check out the facility and what it's going to look like. And then also, you know, we're going to be talking a little bit in our special board meeting about what is happening in our community and across the country, and especially in Los Angeles. But I believe that the County Office of Education continues to work hard to stand up for our community, to bring awareness and really advocacy in a lot of ways. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that in just a moment. I did want to share some important upcoming events that are taking place. The effective governance training that we're helping to support. Right now, there's 2 districts that are participating in this training that is taking place starting tomorrow and on Saturday. And PVOC in North Monterey County board members will be participating in this training. We've also working in support for PVUSD board members to receive mentoring ongoing, help with strengthen their capacity with governance. We're excited to launch our Student Trustee Academy this summer, and we're going to send you the days that we're going to be working. We're excited that the student trustee from PVUSD who just finished, Daniel, thank you. Daniel is just finished his term as a student trustee from PVOC. He participated in the program last year, and he did an outstanding job. In fact, created a handbook for the student trustees, and so he's going to be co-presenting with me and Andres Ortiz for the Student Trustee Academy, and presenting his handbook to the students. And so we're really excited about his participation in this academy this summer. Up the bus on August 2nd. So would love for you to support that effort to bring materials and backpacks to you know, thousands of students in our community.
And then we'll be back starting our staff kickoff on August 5th. So again, love for you to join us. And then our administrative kickoff is going to be taking place in September. I'd like to shift our attention just a little bit to some of the challenges that we are facing. And I know this has some relevance to some items that we'll be discussing during our special board meeting. But just I've shared this before, and just kind of talking about the reconciliation bill, which incorporates mandated costs. We've talked a little bit about how if Medicaid is cut, what how that may impact our students and families who qualify for Medi-Cal, and other programs like ESMA and LEA BOP, which are assume or work if the students qualify for Medi-Cal. Also, the discretionary budget, which is the one that covers most federal funding, about 12 to 15% of the budgets in Santa Cruz County are from federal resources or federal sources. The discretionary budget is the one that is also being, the White House proposed what they call a skinny budget, meaning serious reductions and also block granting, including programs like the Migrant Education Program. And as a result of the proposal by the White House, our services here in Santa Cruz County come from Santa Clara County Office of Education, or the parts outside of PVUSD, and they've made the decision to lay off all their staff this year. So they've basically shuttered their program as of June 30th. Monterey County is looking like they're doing the same. The PVUSD has its own funding, and they have not made any decisions at this point. They have not laid off their staff. And so I call the California Department of Education to ask, because our understanding is there was another year of funding because the migrant program is funded on a 5-year cycle. However, the California Department of Education said that was their understanding, but they don't have any assurance that there's another year. And so these are very real impacts that are going to affect services for our community. Of course, the aggressive immigration and deportation action that's taken place is creating a great deal of fear and anxiety in our community, and of course, the continued policies against our LGBTQ+ and immigrant communities. So I wanted to share this slide with you once again about our efforts. One is reassurance for our community, demonstrating our allyship and continuing to provide safe spaces for students, and really focus on local services. I mean, I think it's important for our families to know that educators and community-based organizations and other agencies are continuing to advocate and champion their needs. And we are re-looking at our protocols when it comes to potential immigration activities, anticipating and tracking funding cuts, and of course, continuing to support state litigation that stops illegal federal action. We just received notification, Nick just gave me a heads up, that a judge did rule that some of the militarization that has occurred was deemed illegal by a judge. So of course, we know that that's going to be go through the courts, but I think it's important for us to recognize that we're going to continue to advocate for the rule of law and the protections that are under the Constitution and our role as educators and advocates for our community. We continue to inform and prepare, sharing the protections that exist for our community and working to increase access and to information, including through the Sus Derechos website, which we are continuing to update. And we have been participating in partnership with the Pajaro Valley Collaborative on press conferences to bring awareness about the impacts of the different kinds of actions to our community. The last one was about food insecurity and the cuts that are taking place there. And of course, continuing to work with our community-based organizations and our federal, state, and local leaders who are working hard to advocate on behalf of our department. And I believe that is it for my report. I'm happy to take any questions.
This will just flit by, but 119 West Beach, is there any potential in the longer run for housing on that site?
Yeah, not like, I mean, not, it would be difficult. It would require a different kind of project that would, and so I would think that our vision for that site would not in housing. However, we are looking at other possibilities of other projects that may result in housing. But I don't think that 119 would probably, you know, we would have housing that. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Nope. Thank you for the report. Number 16, now we have trustee reports. We're going to start with trustee Larson and then work our way up the board.
Thank you. I submitted my report in the packet. Just loved all the graduations, the Pride Parade. I'll stop there.
Thank you. Van Allen?
Same thing, graduations, Black Grad, Pride Parade, really important, and glad to see other board members.
Thank you. Williams?
Additionally, attended several of the COE Alt Ed graduations. I didn't get to attend all the ones that I wanted to, mostly because I had my own graduate this year and there was a lot of activities as my final year as booster president for Harbor High. So it took a lot of my time and I missed a lot. So I'm really looking forward to more next year. And also attended Black graduation. It was particularly special because I got to see friend's son graduate. We've known him and my daughter went to school with him since kindergarten. So it was really very special to be there for that. And I continue to work in the background with CSP, which is the Children's Safety Plan Coalition, just kind of helping them with the background infrastructure stuff of communication.
Thank you. Estrada?
I wasn't able to attend graduations because I was so busy with work. I thought I was going to take the days off. I told everyone I'm going to take those days off. I'm just going to take them off. And then I had so much to do. But I did attend the Pride Parade. So that was a lot of fun marching with the COE. And yeah, that's been the month. It's an early meeting as well. I still have a few weeks until next meeting. Maybe I'll have some more.
Thank you. Yes, to echo what everyone, most of us have said, graduation's very rewarding. And just the format that we have, I think it's very personal. I think it's really spotlights our students. So I'm very thankful. It takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of energy, especially from those that try to attend them all, like our own superintendent. But it's appreciated and just feel like they're very well organized.
You know, Mr. President, if I could add one additional comment. All the graduations I attended, be they private school, public school, or COEs, at all but like maybe 2 of them, I ran into other families or staff that I knew from real life. You know, and that was just made it all the better. Like Rachel shared for Black graduation, seeing that at all the graduations just showed what a small interconnected community we are that all have to support each other, especially.
Yes, Williams?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more thing. It's like a +1 of not just the Black graduation, but I was looking at our graduates here, and it was really great to see sort of the product of what the COE does in Alt Ed. On OASIS, there were about 4 students that my daughter grew up with, that I knew personally, that it brought me such joy to see them graduate and find, a place that worked for them. And I had a chance to talk to their parents, and they were just so grateful for the programs that we offer, and talking about their students really finding their place in OASIS and some of the other programs, Cottage, et cetera. And so this was a very special year. So that's all.
Nice. Okay. If there's no other comments. Yes. Oh, Roth? Sorry. Yes. Trustee Roth, do you have a report for us?
Yes, and my internet connection is not stable, so I may come across pretty bad. I don't know.
We hear you loud and clear.
I did go to the charter committee meeting, the Black grad student graduation. Several of our alt ed graduations, which were very, very moving. And I participated with the budget perspective workshop through Zoom, because I'm babysitting up in Oregon. So anyway, I appreciate being able to participate tonight, although I missed a lot of the dialogue. I now know why we need to speak directly into microphones. But anyway, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Okay, ad hoc standing committee, any reports or actions for the board? If not, I just want to remind everybody that next Thursday is Juneteenth, which is a holiday, a recognized holiday for the Santa Cruz County Office of Education. So we will not be holding our regularly scheduled board meeting then. Instead, we will meet the Thursday after, June 26th. And with that, our meeting is adjourned. Okay, how are we doing? Do we need a break or can we go to the next one? Okay, perfect. Okay.
Good night.
I'm sorry, so you mentioned something?
I'm just saying good night.
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait, we have another board meeting. If you can join us for that one as well.
We have another board meeting, a board item, Sue?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Please stand by.
All right. So now I would like to call to order the special board meeting that we have programmed today and I want to start with a roll call, please.
Trustee Acosta, Vice President Estrada,
Here.
Trustee Larson,
Here.
Trustee Roth,
Here.
Trustee Van Allen,
Here.
Trustee Williams,
Here.
President Sanchez,
Here.
Student Trustee Hopkins,
Here.
Student Trustee Marcus.
Here.
Okay. So we have Trustee Roth with us that can't be in person, but she is in Zoom. And I'm looking for approval for her attendance via remote.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay. Approval of the agenda.
So move.
Second.
First and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Public comment. Is there anyone from the public that would like to talk on this specific issue on the agenda?
Check on Zoom. I'm going to assume no.
Okay. Okay, so we have one item on the agenda today, and it's a resolution 25-20, affirming support for immigrant families and opposing militarized enforcement in schools and in public spaces. And for this one, we have our superintendent, Dr. Sabah.
Yes, thank you so much, President Sanchez, for bringing this item forward and for us and to the full board for allowing us to have a special board meeting. This item was put into discussion after the 72-hour requirement for the regularly scheduled meeting. And so President Sanchez felt that having a special board meeting that allows us a 24-hour notice for the Brown Act was appropriate. As you well know, we are extremely concerned about the action that the administration is taking to enforce immigration, the steps that they've taken in the Los Angeles area and across the country. And the militarized enforcement, the utilization of the military is something that is of great concern. And many of us, including recently through a judge that has made a decision that that this action was illegal from this judge's perspective, and many of us who are extremely concerned about this. So this resolution includes certain components. It's one, opposing the militarization. So it condemns the unauthorized federal military or law enforcement near schools or protests as harmful and inflammatory. And that's one of the big concerns as well, is that this was not only action taken against our immigrant communities, but also against protests and people speaking up against that action. It establishes support for our immigrant families, asserting that aggressive enforcement causes fear and trauma in our community, especially for our mixed status households, which many in our community are of that, from those families. It reinforces our commitment to having safe spaces in our schools, so that our students can have conditions that don't shield them from fear and disruption, and asserts that enforcement near campuses can cause a great deal of harm. It establishes the commitment of the board to uphold the state laws that ban immigration enforcement on campuses and protect student rights, and reasserts our commitment for all local educators to support students through trauma-informed and culturally responsive practices, and asks for stronger legal protections, and encourages other districts to adopt similar resolutions that support our immigrants. One more thing, I'm sorry to interrupt. I did want to share that the city of Watsonville passed a similar resolution, as well as the County Board of Supervisors as well. And this is something that is being looked at by many county offices, county boards of education, as well as other legal entities throughout
I think land of the free is something that I hear a lot, that is used when describing our country, right? And yet I see these types of actions that are, say, the opposite, right? Actions that are done purposefully so that people aren't comfortable, so that people do live in fear, so that they have, and that's unfortunate. You know, I think that the one thing that we can't change is the family that we're born into. None of us can. And I think it's unfortunate that some people have to live in this fear because of the family that they were born into, circumstances, situations that they're in. And it hurts and it's painful, you know, to see what's going on. And I think we need to stand up and we need to support those they can intimidate, right? Those who can't threaten with removing them from home, what they've known as being their home for most, if not all of their life. So very happy to see this motion, and that people are standing up and they're saying, you know, it's enough. You know, it's time for, this can't continue. You know, we need to do our part. We need to be the voice for others who can't. Van Allen.
You mentioned land of the free. Tonight, we all said liberty and justice for all. That's another one of those pretty strong concepts, and it's being violated by our own government right now. And so I strongly support this resolution and appreciate Paris bringing it forward to us.
Any other ones? Williams?
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for bringing us, this is worth the special meeting for however long it is. And want to say that obviously all of our commitment is to our students for them to have a safe place to go to school and be educated, and that extends to their families and to our community as a whole. And, you know, something that folks talk a lot about is our immigrant community and all the things, why they should be here because of all the things that they do and provide to our community. And they're not wrong. But first and foremost, they're human beings. And it's just disturbing and frankly, just gut-wrenching and disgusting that there are people out there that just don't see them just as human beings that deserve to have an opportunity like they did. And so I'm happy every time I get to go out and stand with so many people in our community and say that these things are wrong. That we live in a democracy, not a dictatorship, and we want to keep it that way. And so, I just want to say thank you for bringing it up. It's something, even if it's an obvious kind of thing of how all of us feel, it's important to put it out there into words and saying, this is what we stand by. We stand by our students, their families, and the community. So thank you.
Larson?
I just want to add thanks again to the superintendent and the board president for scheduling the special meeting and bringing it forward. It's like every day, every week, there's yet another step away from the land of the free and what appears to be our representative democracy that I think it requires us to take voice. And I was particularly pleased to see the call for broader action, not only legally, but calling on our fellow school board members and districts to join us in this action, as we did with the Pride Parade, Pride flag raising and the like. I think we are in a unique role with the superintendent's leadership to call on other educators to step up because waiting may be too late. So I'm ecstatic to be here and glad we're getting into it before I have to leave.
Estrada?
Yeah, the images that we're seeing on the news are very disheartening. I think the rhetoric around it is very disheartening. I see a lot of rhetoric about apart from, any disobedience, violence, or, property damage primarily, which I think, a lot of us will condemn that, but we're not we have to stand up for free speech and de-escalation and not the escalation that this administration wants. And that's, in my opinion, clearly why they brought in military and nationalized the National Guard, federalized the National Guard. I also just hate the rhetoric around it right now where people are saying it's un-American to fly a Mexican flag at a protest, where this is America. This is land of the free, liberty and justice for all. And I think that this is a country built on immigrants. This is a country where a vast majority of folks are here because them or their ancestors came here from another nation. And, I see lots of flags being flown. I think we had a multicultural celebration, multicultural graduation. I think we stand for that. I think we stand for free speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to protest without being afraid of being put in jail, or like Senator Padilla happened to him today, being thrown to the ground and handcuffed, sitting U.S. Senator for the state of California when trying to ask Kristi Noem a question. So I think it's scary times. But I'm glad to be in a community right now that is not afraid to stand up and say what is right and to stand by our values and stand by the Constitution and the values that we believe and that I think that this country was founded on and that we are always striving to get closer to. Always striving for more, liberty and freedom. Say.
Thank you. Sue, would you like to say anything? If not, that's okay.
Are you talking?
I
You're
just want
breaking
I
up.
just want to make sure that you have an opportunity to speak if you would like to do so.
I am in total support and proud to be on this board. And thank you for giving us this opportunity to make a statement.
Okay.
It's very disappointing what is going on. Never in my lifetime did I feel that I would see this.
Okay. Natalie Rubin? Comments, questions? No? Okay.
Motion then to approve resolution 2520.
Okay. We have a first and a second. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Student trustee Hopkins?
Aye.
Student trustee Marcus?
Aye.
Vice President Estrada?
Yes.
Trustee Larson?
Aye.
Trustee Roth?
Yes.
Trustee Van Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
President Sanchez?
Yes. Passes unanimously. Dr. Silva?
Just my thanks. I'd like to thank Nikki Barra, who helped craft this resolution, and just for your leadership to call this special meeting and make this happen. We'll continue to share information as it comes up, as it impacts our schools, and it makes me proud to be a part to join you as a leader and to see your leadership. Thank you.
Could we ask for a copy of the final resolution to be shared for us to transmit out as well?
We'll be happy to provide that.
Okay. And with that, our meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.